11th he went for Astro Olympiad and he got gold medal I think in Brazil. उनको पता नहीं कहाँ से पता चलता है, जैसे जैसे ही किसी बच्चे की बॉडी लैंग्वेज देखते हैं या पता नहीं किसी को देखने का उनको फील आती है कि दैट शुड बी रैंक 1 और टॉप 10 और समथिंग लाइक दैट.
I found him very perturbed. कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहा है. मैं उससे बात कर रहा हूँ, he is not speaking. And then he said, यार पता है दक्ष, यार मुझे लग रहा है कुछ तो पंगा है उसकी मैथ के अंदर, right? I'm confused.
Whenever I used to come across some good question, I used to send him on WhatsApp.
Hey students, I'm proud to have Daksh with us. So बच्चों, Daksh is going to score 100% marks in math in JEE Advanced 2025, which is tremendous, which is like unimaginable. In this session, we are going to discuss with Daksh how did he go about preparing for JEE Advanced. In between, he also got a medal for India in astrophysics. So how did he go about that? But more importantly, how he attempted his JEE Advanced paper. And towards the end of this session, we will actually have Daksh, teach us, show us, some of the JEE Advanced tough problems which he solved very smartly. So this is about this session, bachcho. Hang on tight, lots of learning coming your way. And with us today is Daksh mentor, maths mentor, Surinder Sir. And these two are math geeks. So today I will not be your math teacher. I'll just be the comparer because in front of these two, that's safer option for me, right? All right. So let us discuss with Daksh. Daksh, tell us, when did your preparation start for JEE Advanced or, in this direction?
So JEE preparation started in like 10th probably. Mm-hmm. But then it was only became like, JEE became the main focus only in like 11th types. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I got into it kind of like in 9th ka mid, like just after 9th midterms, because through YouTube only, I found out about Math Olympiad from not on YouTube, like one in school also, somebody told me about Math Olympiad. So from there, I got a bit curious, I did all that stuff. So I prepared for IOQM in 9th grade. So that's how it started.
So I think so Surinder Sir was showing me a snapshot of his first class with you in 2022, I believe, right?
It was 21st March 2022.
22.
Yeah,
so you were in class 9th?
10th. Just
you were in class
10th.
10th.
Yeah, maybe end of 9th or starting of the 10th, yeah.
So how did you come to know about Vedantu? And, I think it was Arambh batch, we call it. The 9th, 10th batches we call Arambh. That in English means the beginning.
Yeah,
right?
It's a 3-year program for JEE. Yeah, that start at the end of 9th. So whole 10th, then 11th, and then 12th. Yeah.
So yes, how did you come to know about that? And it was specifically for your Olympiad preparation or for your, in general, the 9th and 10th?
So I joined Vedantu's IOQM camp in 9th. Mm-hmm. So that was really fun and all. So usme community like a community gets formed. So there I saw the link for this, like people are talking about this Drishti program. So I thought there is a 1 hour test you had to give in some selection or something. So I thought just for fun, I'll give this test just to see how it is. So when I gave it, I did pretty well actually. So then it's basically like an entrance test for, I guess, that year who was going to 11th grade. So there was one full interview and all. So after that, they said that we can't give you admission, but we can give you admission into RM batch. So that's how I got into RM batch.
Amazing. So this was an online batch, right? And Surinder Sir, I know for a fact that, Anand Sir has this, in fact, all of you, amazing team, has this knack of identifying the talent, in their budding years, right? Yeah. And I remember when Anand Sir got the first All India rank 1. So he told me that this guy is going to get All India rank 1 when he was in grade 8th. Yeah. So I'm sure when you met Daksh, you guys knew that, this guy can do great. So when was that time and what were you thinking? And how were you planning the journey for Daksh? And फिर मैं Daksh से पूछूंगा कि इसकी journey कैसे गई? But what was your planning?
See, when he came in the class, he was very good, no doubt about that. But there was no thought that he'll be getting top 10 rank or top 50 rank. That was nowhere in our mind. But when Anand Sir met him in the after very first meeting, he said rank 1. He was always saying only rank 1. तो मैं बोलता था सर को सर टॉप 10 इज ऑल्सो गुड, तो बोलते कि नहीं टॉप 10 इज गुड बट आई वांट रैंक 1। मतलब उनको पता नहीं कहाँ से पता चलता है, वैसे जैसे ही किसी बच्ची की बॉडी लैंग्वेज देखते हैं या पता नहीं किसी को देखने के बाद उनको फील आती है कि दैट शुड बी रैंक 1 और टॉप 10 और समथिंग लाइक दैट। सो वहाँ से एंड दैट वाज आई थिंक इन द 2022 itself कि that he will be getting very good rank in JEE Advanced, and then we put
Yeah,
our
he
best
remembered
effort
telling me,
here.
this guy is talented. If groomed well, can definitely get, top 50, top 20 rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I think in RM in that program we target I think first physics Olympiad and astro Olympiad. So these things were done I think the 10th grade
10th and 11th.
10th and 11th also. So in 11th he went for astro Olympiad and he got gold medal I think in Brazil. Yeah, in Brazil. So the journey was it was continuous. It was not that only JEE Advanced was in the focus. In between there were so many things. So we were targeting those also. So one of them was this astro Olympiad, physics
Astrophysics,
Olympiad
yeah.
also, and INMO also. I think he went for INMO camp.
Means I got selected for the camp. I didn't go though.
Yeah.
You didn't go there?
You can only choose one out of astro and
Oh,
maths.
yeah. So in 11th, so you got in the INMO, that is Math Olympiad camp, as well as astrophysics. So you chose astrophysics. You represented India, got gold for India.
Gold.
So guys, gold medalist for India is sitting with us here. Amazing. So this was the plan that you guys. So Daksh, when you were going in this journey, let me put it this way. When Daksh was shifting from 10 to 11, the batch that he was part of in Aram, especially the students who were preparing for Olympiad at Vedantu, this was a batch of this always is a batch of super talented people. In fact, I know that two of those students who then went to some offline institutions later on, they are also expecting to get top 20 ranks in IIT. But Daksh, it must have been a tough choice for you, right? Because Vedantu is a new name for many of the students. Also, choosing to learn completely online as compared to many others. So how did you go about it? How did you take this decision of कि नहीं मैं तो वेदांतु में ही पढ़ लूंगा और मैं ऑनलाइन पढ़ लूंगा इन टीचर्स से?
Like I don't think it was that difficult of a decision for me. I'm not sure about my parents, but for me it wasn't that difficult of a decision. Like everything was going really well in 10th and all with all Chandan sir and Surendra sir and everything. So there wasn't really any problem per se. Like I never got a reason to change kind of. Like whatever I needed, I was provided with all the good resources and everything.
Yeah, and I think I'm really proud of the decision which Daksh made, and the trust that his family, his father especially, put in us. Because see, we are confident because this team has produced all India rank ones in the history, right? In JEE Advanced. So, but now when we do these things in an online mode, and now we have offline centers as well, it's difficult to trust a new name for many, but Daksh did, and his result will speak for it, right? So we are proud of you, and many students will get inspired by your decision as well. So going ahead in this journey, did it all go as per the plan, or there were things which which troubled you, which didn't go as per the plan? Tell me more about your journey.
I think for me, I don't usually think that far ahead. So things did go not according to plan or away from I guess, what I would have imagined they would have gone. Like first was chemistry. Chemistry, I think I only picked up very late in preparation. Then astro was never part of my plan. The whole thing about going to astronomy camp and then the international and everything, that also I probably wouldn't have been able to guess even like 5 months before. So, and then another thing was in the last 2 months I became really burnt out, really burnt out. Like mentally I was gone kind of. So I think I studied very less actually in last 2 months comparatively, and I guess focused more on like mental state there. So yeah. a lot of those are some of the more main things which didn't go according.
So, I'm getting lots of questions from what Daksh just said. And, these 2 years or 3 years of preparation is actually not just about learning the subjects, but, it tests you as a human being. And it also molds you into a personality which is ready to take on the world, right? So, and of course, getting burnt out, or assimilating your thoughts to refocus, to put yourself back and gain that strength to go forward. All these are learnings of life, right? So I'll ask more questions on that. But one thing that comes to me is, so we too are math teachers, we love math. We have got a guy here who's scoring 100% in JEE Advanced in math. Why do people like us hate chemistry? So my rank suffered, right, because of my hatred towards chemistry.
Yes.
I couldn't, nobody actually guided me, or I didn't listen to anybody. That's a different thing. But what did you do? How did you manage your chemistry?
I think for me, like, the thing is, I won't be able to study a subject unless I find at least little bit of enjoyment in it. So kind of like finding that enjoyment takes a lot of time. Like chemistry is that kind of subject, like if I start teaching you right now, like you won't be able to follow at all. So I think to build up all that, I guess, feel for the subject, especially like chemistry, that takes a lot of time. So for me, once that got built up, I started liking the subject a lot more.
So when did that happen? 11th, 12th?
When I started giving time to it. So that's like in 12th, kind of, 11th and 12th.
What pushed you to give time to it?
I think organic chemistry, actually. Like when we started organic chemistry, I thought ki, okay, this is a new kind of topic. I should be able to, if I start now, I should be able to follow it. Like the problem was before I wasn't able to understand also at the level I probably wanted to, because I didn't have that I wasn't able to follow fully. So when organic started in our batch, that's when I decided, okay, let me try and actually follow this time. So usse kafi help hua.
Good, guys. Very important for all of you to understand, especially the ones who love math. Bhai, JEE Advanced ka paper is a game of strategy where you need to balance three things. It's a problem of maxima and minima. You have to maximize your marks, right? So whatever it takes. So, one more thing. I'll tell you a very interesting thing. So I and Anand sir, so we live in the same apartment complex, and usually late in the night, we go out for a walk. Right? So I remember that night when, I found him very perturbed. कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहा है. मैं उससे बात कर रहा हूँ. He's not speaking. And then he said, यार पता है दक्ष, यार मुझे लग रहा है कुछ तो पंगा है उसकी मैथ के अंदर, right? I'm confused that why is he not getting marks in math? And my fear is, are his concepts weak, or is it just a temperament issue or the approach issue, right? I think then he did something. You were getting less marks in math, but after some time you started getting like 100%, 95% marks in math. What happened?
So basically, Anand sir asked me to give 1.5 hours to maths, or whatever it took, really. So at that point of time, what the thing was happening was that we had very difficult papers. So, and I always used to do maths at the end. So I didn't get a proper chance to solve a lot of the questions. So what Anand sir told is like, start with math and do it completely, whatever time it takes. Dusre subjects gaye. So I tried that. So after that only I started getting really good marks.
But the thing is, so Anand sir told you that in the next few papers, just focus on math in terms of getting like 100% mark without worrying about other subjects. But eventually it became like a habit for you, right?
Yeah.
That you started getting marks in math. So what's the learning for the other students here?
Like, I guess the idea is like, until you know you can do it, means once you know you can do it, it becomes much easier to do it. So I didn't know that I could score full in maths. So after that happens 1-2 times, then even if I'm not putting that on top priority, it can still happen.
Wow.
I would like to add into this. Actually, this was the beginning of second round revision. When we finished our syllabus in the month of, I think, May, then May to July or maybe August, that was the first round of revision. During that time, paper was a little easier. Maybe advanced level, you can say, not easier than that. He was scoring good, 90% types. But when second round revision started, paper were very difficult actually. So his score suddenly dropped. It was around 80%, 75% types he was getting still in maths. Okay, I was going to my hometown. When I came back and I saw Daksh getting suddenly full marks. And I asked him, how was your paper? So he said, it was good, I got full marks. And what happened? So he told me that Anand sir has said that whatever times you want to take, you take, but you should get full marks in maths. Maybe he wanted to test whether he is having concepts clear or not. Maybe because of time management, if he is not getting, then that excuse should not be there. He should at least know the subject. So in the month of, I think, October or November, Anand sir said in the month of October, and after 1 week only, he started getting full marks. Whatever paper was, maybe leaving 1 or 2 paper, maybe some 95% you can say, or 96% you can say. So almost every paper he was getting full score. Hardly one question or two questions, he used to send me the screenshot, which I'll show you in that session.
I'll come to your screenshot things, yes.
So that screenshot thing used to happen as a 1 or 2 question. Maybe sometimes there was some typing error also in those questions. But mostly, right from that October, he was getting 100% marks in JEE Advanced pattern paper, full syllabus paper actually.
So guys, lots of interesting learnings here for you. So learning one is, you are so full of potential that at times you yourself don't know. So when you push the boundaries, you actually start knowing more about yourself. And second important learning is, the role of a coach in your life. So Anand sir didn't teach him math, right? So Anand sir and all these amazing teachers are that kind of a coach who understands the student, understands the human psychology. We have seen students so many times in different situations that we know, what lever should be pulled to mold the child in the right direction. And that's what happened with Daksh as well. And by the way, I'm amazed with Anand sir's this knack. How does he do that? It beats me at times.
There's a book, there's a power of atomic habits. So if you make habit of doing something, on daily basis, it becomes part of your life.
Yeah.
So I think in maths, this became, because first he was taking 1.5 hours or more than that also. But later on, within 1 hour only, he was able to get same number of marks.
Yes. So I just wish I had mentors like you. When I was a kid, I was such a distracted child. And I wish that, my son gets the mentors like you. But I doubt that he will get, because, to get mentors like these, you need to put in hard work from your end as well. Har kisi ko nahi milte hai, right? You need to put in the hard work which Daksh had put in to deserve the mentorship of teachers like these, right? So, sir, coming to another thing. So, you were showing me your WhatsApp chat with Daksh. By the way, geek alert here. So, that chat is not full with emojis and the chit chats. That chat is full with geeky questions of math and some super awesome 2-3 liner answers and solutions of those questions. Tell me more about that. What's this WhatsApp chit chat between you two?
Actually, when all syllabus was over, 2-round revision was also over. So there was not, regular classes happening. He was solving paper. I think every week he was having 2 papers. So he was already loaded with so many.
So he was telling me every week.
That was in the end.
In the end.
In the end. Okay. So in the month of, I think, March, it was, I think, 2. Then in the April, I think it was 3.
3 papers.
Yeah, like that. So he was busy doing chemistry. Also, because chemistry, still it was not that perfect. So, but in maths, regular classes are not happening. So, whenever I used to come across some good question, I used to send him on WhatsApp. So, that was really very, very good question. Means some student has sent to me, or from some source, if I come to know about that question, I used to send him. So, most of the time, I will say 80% of the time, I was getting, one better solution from him that I will, remember for my lifetime now. So that is what I think you are asking. So we can, I am having collection of this kind of questions. Every year I am getting questions from many students. I have a story of in 2020, one student sent me one question, and that I did by a very long method. And I thought this question is not from JEE, it should be from Olympiad or something like that. And that question some student asked me, because it is there in our material only. So, and suddenly I don't know why it came in my mind. Let me send it to Daksh. Maybe what he will do. So he sent me a solution using recurrence method. Okay, that was a question of definite integration.
तो एक सेकंड यहाँ पे कंपटीशन करते हैं.
Yeah.
So बच्चों, I'll edit this video here and I'll show the chat screens between these two, and I will show that question to you as well. In the chat of this video, you have to give the solution, right? And we will also put a small video somewhere in the link of how Daksh solved that question, right? We'll do that. It'll be fun. Yeah.
So that I think for last 2-3 months, that was the interaction we were having. Sometimes some questions also from test, suppose if it is not happening, that was also there. But this WhatsApp thing that you are asking, so that was happening for last 3 months.
3 months. So Daksh, what was, I mean, did you enjoy that, or was he just troubling you?
Like the thing is, when you do like sheets and stuff, especially in like last 3 months of prep, so some questions are not so good, some questions are dekha hua types, and some questions are really good, and you will only benefit mainly from like the really good questions. So you end up wasting a lot of time when you do sheets. So whenever Surendra sir used to send like a question, it used to be like, sure, this is a really good question. So give as much time as you want to it, type of thing.
But what I got to know is that as much time was actually less time when you were solving it. Great, amazing. Really inspiring, guys. I mean, you know, so this is how you make learning fun, right? So this chit chat, this banter between these two was actually also related to learning, but in a very fun way, right? There was no pressure. It was just a fun way of solving questions, discussing the questions, right? So now that brings me to, Daksh, you getting 100% marks in math, which is like, ooh, blows me unimaginable. Because we teachers, when we solved the paper, it took us more than an hour to solve the paper, right? So within an hour, in fact, I don't know, Daksh will tell us how much time did he take in solving the paper. Not just solving, but also applying smart ways of solving the questions, which we will discuss in this session as well. So I want to understand how Daksh actually approached this paper. So Daksh, tell us about how did you approach your math paper especially, right? You can actually talk about your paper solving strategy as well. And tell us more. The students want to know.
When I read the pattern for first paper, so I was like, okay, there are 48 questions. They're giving me like 7 per subject in form of like SCQ or matching. So SCQ or matching basically I feel are the easiest ones. Equally easy, I guess. So I was pretty happy. I was like, okay, this is a very easy pattern. And even the second paper, 4 SCQs they're giving, and then they're giving integers and all. So they're also, it was an easy pattern and less questions. So I thought, okay, what I did usually in tests was just, I didn't have anything like, okay, pehle physics karunga, and then this subject and that. I would just go, haywire, whatever is happening. I started with physics. Agar physics ho raha hai, to ho raha hai. Agar nahi ho raha hai, I went to chemistry. Agar chemistry nahi ho raha hai, then I went to some other section or something. And then finally, agar dono nahi ho rahe, then I came to maths. Agar wo bhi nahi ho raha, फिर panic aata hai, but luckily that didn't happen. So I came to maths somewhere in the middle, and whatever was happening, I did it. And then if it didn't happen, I went back. Basically, one more problem I had was I used to get very bored in tests sometimes. Like, if I can't do the whole physics paper or the whole chemistry paper in one go, I would do maybe one section, then go to a different subject, do the one section there, then come back and all that. So that was usually how I'd attempt a paper, because I can't do 18 questions in a row. It would bore me a lot. So for math specifically, I don't think like the plan was to get full or anything. Kind of just happened, like on the paper day. But I knew that I'd done physics and chemistry kind of quickly, so I did have the time to devote to maths, like enough.
So how much time did you end up devoting to math? And when you were solving the math paper, तुमने math के paper में time कितना दिया? Or did you go in a sequential order? Or did you like skip questions in between and come back to it later?
So I go haywire in the paper, so I'm not sure how much time I spent exactly, but it would probably be like 1 hour, 10 minutes, probably 10 or 15 minutes. So again, like when I'm attempting, I do SCQ or matching first. I think maths I did matching for SCQ first, sorry, if in that paper pattern. And multi-corrects I used to do when I feel I can do them. Like the thing is, MCQs are the worst pattern, like just my multiple options hai. So, and luckily they had only 3 or 4 in each paper, so that was like a very nice pattern. So whenever I felt ki acha, abhi mood hai, let me do it. So I did those 3 or 4. And then I used to scatter like the other stuff around that. Actually, numerical also is a pretty good pattern.
The integer types, right?
Yeah.
So I heard that, they were,
Yeah.
they were relatively easier as well, especially in, I think, paper 2, I believe. Is it?
Basically,
Some
it's
questions,
majduri nahi karna.
हाँ मजदूरी नहीं करना है really. But this brings me to a very interesting point. And so the way Daksh actually approached the matrix match questions, right, was very smart. He didn't solve all the options. He actually solved like 2 options and got the answer, which we will discuss towards the end of this session. Daksh will actually show us how he attempted the questions in a very smart way, right? And in many questions, he actually applied another, what we call as the shortcut approaches, smart approaches to solve the questions, because he knew the concepts deeply. He actually remembered some of the results as well, right, Daksh? We can maybe talk more about.
One question in the matching was the mean median, the statistics question in paper 1. So there I only had to solve 2 options, because there's a property that you can use to differentiate between the other 2. Then in some of the, like one of the numerical questions, there's a much faster way. I wouldn't say it's a shortcut. I guess that the method that I used was the intended solution, but I guess I don't think, it's not very easy to strike, I guess.
I think you're talking about the parabola question.
No, y1, y2, y3.
Yeah,
differential
equation.
So, there was a thumb rule which, we teachers tell, and when I was a kid, I used to use. If a question is asking, if it looks like that, in this question, lots of labor needs to be done, or बहुत मजदूरी करनी पड़ रही है, usually 99% times, you are not approaching it the right way.
Correct.
So you need to just take a pause, and think, okay, am I approaching it correctly, or is there a smarter way of doing it? And this is exactly what I saw Daksh did, and which we'll see when Daksh solves those questions towards the end of the session. Smart, very smart approaches. I was like amazed. And getting that thought within the paper itself tells me that, your mind was calm, it was focused, it was attentive, the presence of mind was there. So this brings me to this question. Were you panicked during the paper or before the paper?
I'd say little panicked before the paper. Like part of it is like that insecurity, did I prepare enough sort of thing. But I think the moment like you click start exam, uske baad just I don't think,
And one more thing. So, you fear a situation when it hits you in a very surprising way. But if you would have, simulated that scenario so many times that there is no surprise element left, then you are usually calm in taking on that challenge. And what I'm talking about is, you giving lots of tests again and again, multiple times of different difficulty levels, of different patterns that prepares you for the D-Day. I think this is what happened with Daksh as well. So Daksh, tell us about how many tests did you give, and did these tests, what sir call as
NQTs.
the Vedantu's,
Novel test questions.
Novel test questions, where the teachers have created the questions themselves, right?
Yes.
And many of those questions and the concepts got repeated in the advanced paper.
Exactly.
So did these test papers and the questions prepare you well for the final exam?
I think for me, NQTs probably prepared me the best, because I think I had this kind of wrong notion that JEE is extremely hard, at least maths mein, कि the maths which comes in JEE is very, very difficult. But yeah, so I used to kind of give the NQTs very religiously. Like what I used to do, there's this website where you can put artificial noise in the background. So I'd put the coffee noise, some coffee place ka noise there, and then I'd give the paper, like especially for NQTs, I wanted to simulate the real thing because NQTs are fresh questions. And in the other papers, you may see some standard questions, etc. So I wanted that to build like that, to be able to think on the spot.
Yeah. It's so fun to think about this. So, this JEE preparation is like a simulation inside a simulation inside a simulation because, I usually see it this way. JEE preparation is a simulation of life. In life, you'll be, facing lots of challenges, you will be required to learn new things, there will be targets to achieve, there will be competition around, there will be competitors, right? The going will be tough, you will be depressed at times. Isn't it like your JEE preparation, right? Now, so within it, Daksh created one more simulation. So the JEE test paper is a scenario. He created simulation for that scenario. That's so much. What an amazing approach, right? Yeah. Phenomenal. And so what I'm getting to hear from him now, that he's not leaving you. He's now getting you to prepare NQT questions, right?
And they will be, given to the students with his name only.
Achha, Daksh questions.
Daksh questions, yes.
Arey wah, kya baat hai. Amazing. So one interesting, thought came to my mind. I mean, I remembered that there was a time when Daksh was at a streak of scoring hundreds in our internal test papers. Then came the JEE mains. What happened there? Tell me.
So like the thing was that in the mains mock test, we had some 17 mock tests, I guess. More than that actually. So usme we had to keep put our scores somewhere. So I had, I think 11, 12, maybe hundreds almost in a row. Towards the end, but then actual exam I ended up with, I guess, 90 in maths and 95 in the second mains. So
actually, one question was controversial actually in mains, and they didn't give the bonus. So that was a question of some triangle that in his shift. So that there he lost.
What we were discussing कि ज़्यादा दिमाग लगा के आ जाता है.
हाँ सर ऐसे कुछ.
Very interesting.
And the other question was, basically I misread the question. Basically, they meant to ask determinant, and I took that as modulus of the determinant.
Yeah, modulus of it.
Wow. Very interesting. So, one more thing. So, Daksh actually came to us like a Olympiad aspirant, right? And in the RM batch. And you were preparing for INMO. IOQM. And then you got gold for India in astrophysics. And you were also got selected for INMO camp. So, does this Olympiad preparation help in preparing for JEE as well? Or is it like two different paths altogether?
I think like half of maths is just problem solving, logic, all that. Other half is like actually jo theory hota hai. So if you have that like head start of the problem solving which you get in like Olympiads, it helps a lot in JEE also. And also there's also like overlap in syllabus. So
yeah, perfect. So guys, young students who are in grade 8, 9, 10th, or the parents who are listening to this, I think that's a great time to start preparing for Olympiads. Don't worry if you'll get in the camp or anything like that. Just this process of preparing and solving those Olympiad questions actually opens up that young brain to thinking in a very logical manner, to imagine, to be creative about solving the problems, and enjoy the process of learning and problem solving, right? That I think does a lot in preparing you.
Actually, in Olympiad, the only difference is that in special exams like INMO, RMO, you get lot of time to solve just one question. Like 4 hour INMO, there is just 6 questions. So you are getting almost 1 hour for one question, because even if you do 4 questions, that is more than sufficient to get selected for the next stage. But in JEE mains or advanced, you're getting hardly 3 minutes or 4 minutes to solve one question.
Yeah.
And syllabus is also huge in JEE. There are 4 or 5 topics or maybe 6 topics you can see in Olympiad. But the beginning is, I think, that is something that will give you advantage in JEE if you are from that Olympiad background, especially maths Olympiad background.
Yeah, that's so true. So now this brings me to another question as well. That many questions in JEE mains and advanced are very laborious, very calculation intensive, right? And especially like these matrix match kind of questions or these MCQs. At times it's like not one, but solving multiple problems within a problem.
Actually, I will add one more thing before he answered to this, because many people, after paper was out, they were solving the question. They were taking lots of time to solve one question. Maybe some people are taking 15 minutes.
Yeah,
half an hour,
15, 20 minutes.
15 minutes. So how did you manage these calculation intensive questions? So means how did you keep your cool during those questions?
Means for me, nothing in the paper I don't think felt that calculation heavy. Like because a lot of the when you give a lot of tests, it becomes more of normal for you.
Okay.
I think only एक type of question may I feel it's always calculation heavy. Means one type of whenever you have to make cases, that's only when I feel okay, that's a lot of calculation.
देखो मैं तो बोलूँगा swag है भाई का, right? So because I know the calculations. I mean, if you would have solved the question, without being smart about solving it, you would have ended up, doing lots of calculation. But I know that Daksh attempted those questions in a very, very smart way. And that's exactly what we are going to see now. And we are going to our the classroom where Daksh will actually solve the questions and show us how he attempted these questions very, very smartly. So let's go to the classroom now. Hey guys, so chalo, we are in the classroom and we are here to solve some questions. But today I am not the teacher. I have two geeks with me. So Daksh, the 100% scorer in the JEE Advanced paper, जो कि it's rare. मतलब JEE Advanced में math के अंदर the toughest of all the 3 subjects, getting 100% marks is unheard of. तो समझना ये है, what you want to understand is how Daksh actually approached the questions, and I'm taking those questions here which if were not solved by Daksh's approach, you would have taken a lot of time to solve these questions. They are actually very lengthy questions otherwise. So you not just need the knowledge of math, but you need the smartness and the right approach to attack these problems, and that too in the time pressure of an exam like JEE Advanced, right? So let's take the first question. So if you have seen JEE Advanced paper, you have seen this question, right? So look at this paper, look at this question. I'll call Daksh and Surinder sir to help me solve this. But see how majority students would have attacked this problem. Differential equation 1, differential equation 2, differential equation 3. You can solve these differential equations individually. तो आपको y1, y2, y3 मिलेगा. You would have put that y1, y2, y3 here and then try to find the value of limit. Extremely lengthy. At least I'm talking about 7 to 10 minutes here. But with Daksh's approach, you can actually solve it within like a minute or couple of minutes. So why don't we call Daksh and Daksh mentor Surinder sir, these two math geeks, to solve not just this but many such amazing questions very, very smartly. Come. So let me hand over to Surinder sir.
Thank you, sir.
And the prodigy among us, Daksh. Over to you guys. ठीक है? बताओ कैसे solve किया?
Okay. So when I saw this question first, so the first thought that came to my mind was, okay, this is one linear differential equation, this is also one linear differential equation. ये भी वही है. And then they gave me value at one place. So if I can solve all of them, then I can just plug and do this. But then when I tried it, I thought, okay, this is sine square x का integration करने के लिए I have to first convert to 2x, sine 2x, cos 2x, and then do all that. Same for cos x. And then this is also not, मतलब ये थोड़ा easy है, but fine, still. So what I ended up thinking was, इतना काम नहीं करूँगा in the exam, and I just left this question and came back at the end. I think this was the last question I solved in maths in that this paper.
Next slide.
So what I realized when I came back was that यहाँ पे 0 है, यहाँ पे भी 0 है. So what I can do is I can kind of say like y1 dash, मतलब dy1 by dx. Yeah, that will be equal to sine square x, and I can take y1 in denominator. And then same thing I can do with y2 and y3. So I kind of get, this becomes d of ln y1. And then same I can get d of ln y2 and d of ln y3. So if I can add all of them, then I kind of get y1, y2, y3. And then if I multiply this, I can also see that at one point all of the things are cancelling, like 3 by 5e, 5 by 3. So kind of they all multiply and become 1 by e. So that's what, so then I went with that method. So first thing is like d of ln y1 is equal to sine square x dx, then ln y2 and then ये भी दिख गया था कि sin square x plus cos square x, that's going to become 1. So that also simplifies a lot. And then d of ln y3, that is 2 upon x cube minus 1 dx. So if I add all of them, then I can get, if I take y1, y2, y3 as e, so d of ln e is equal to, so sine square plus cos square and minus 1, so that cancels. So that's 2 upon x cube dx. So what I thought is, okay, I already know the value at 1, so I just need to find it at some x. So if I integrate from 1 to x, this kind of becomes d of ln, oh, not d of ln. Like it becomes ln e minus ln of 1 by e. So ln of 1 by e is minus 1, so this becomes plus 1. And here, that's minus 1 upon x square, and then minus of minus 1, so again plus 1. So this cancels, so I just get e is e to the power minus 1 upon x square. So then, moment you put that here, you notice that, okay, okay, क्या हो गया?
X tending to 0 actually.
X tending to 0, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, so when x tends to 0, this thing is going to go very, very small. Because this will go to infinity, so minus infinity. 1 by x squared to infinity, so minus 1 by x squared to minus infinity. So e to the power minus 1 by x squared plus 2x. And then the thing is here, e to the power 3x is not significant, and sine x is as good as x.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. So this is not going to matter in comparison to this. Firstly, because this is exponential, and it's way, way smaller, because e to the power something. So this just becomes 2.
Good. Fantastic. So this is one of the question of paper 2, which is considered to be most difficult question. Okay. In this question, first we have to find the locus that is given in terms of area, in terms of midpoint of a chord, and then you have to again find the area of that locus along with this parabola. Okay. Now, if you do it normally with other methods, people are taking half an hour also. Some people are taking 15 minutes. Even after that, this question is very difficult to do. Okay. But there are some shortcuts, some special tricks, I will say, where if you use that, then this locus thing will become very easy, and then this final answer can also be found. Now, the trick is actually this to-do's theorem. Okay, what is this to-do's theorem? If you have to find the area of a parabola that is bounded with a chord, then this area can be written directly as d cube upon 6l, where d is the projection of this chord on the tangent at vertex, and L is the latest rectum. Now, if we use this thing, okay, then this question will become very easy to do. I think you have also done this same way.
Yes.
Okay, do you remember this result? Okay, so let's see. Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I did when I saw this question, first thing you should do in any conics or question is you should draw the figure, whatever best you can.
Yeah.
So there is some parabola, okay, y square equals x. So फिर they're saying that the area, so there's some chord like this, and that area is 4 by 3, and S is the locus of the midpoints of this chord. So, and okay, and then they also said that R is region lying in first quadrant, okay, this part, and area enclosed, okay, so this is something with S, so I can read it later. So what I did was, first I need to find this locus, obviously. So I thought, okay, I'll take 2 points. So A is, okay, I think I took it as first, because A is 1 by 4, so it's not a very nice value here. So I just took it as A first. So I can write 2 points, A T1 square and A T2 square, comma 2A T2. And then I thought, okay, I'll get some relation with T1, T2, and then I can probably find the midpoint, just I'll get a nice relation there, maybe. So again, I've never used to-do's theorem in a question before this one, but I remembered the result luckily. So the d cube by 6L is 1 here. So if this is 4 by 3, I can write 4 by 3 is d. So d is 2a t2 minus t1 ka cube upon 6. So this becomes 8 here if I take that there.
Correct.
So 2a is half.
Yeah, A is 1 by 4.
So half t2 minus t1 is 2. So t2 minus t1 is equal to 4. So one, I took like 15 seconds here to think ki t2 minus t1 or t1 minus t2, but then I realized that okay, same ही चीज़ है. Each t2 will have 2t such that the area is 4 by 3. So just small thought, didn't really help. Then if I got this locus, so I can write here that the midpoint will be a upon 2 t1 square plus t2 square, comma 2a, not 2a, it will just be a t1 plus t2. So what I thought here is, okay, I'll take one of t1 as t2 as some parameter, and then I will write the new locus. So a is 1 by 4 here. So 1 by 8 k square plus k plus 4 square, if I take one of them as k. And then the other one is a. So 1 by 4.
So you are taking t1 square plus t2 square as k.
No. T1 as k or something as k,
okay.
And then the other will become
okay,
k plus 4. So 2k plus 4 aata hai yahan pe. So what this also simplifies, I guess. 1 by 4 k square plus 4k plus 16 plus 8 if I did the calculation correctly, plus 8k by 2, yeah, okay. And this will become half k plus 2. So one good thing which I saw, k plus 2 here, if I just square that, k square plus 4k plus 4 will come here. So what I usually do when I have to find locus here is, this is x, so 4x is this thing, and 2y is this thing. So I can just write 4y square, matlab 2y ka whole square, plus 4, that should be equal to 4x.
Yeah.
So this is y square plus 1 is x. So what happened is, this is just the same locus as this parabola, but x minus 1. So I shifted it by 1 to the right side.
So first we have found the locus, that was y square is equal to x minus 1. That is coming from that first area condition. Now we have to find the area enclosed between this given parabola, y square is equal to x, and the locus that we have just found. Okay, so let's see how you have done that.
So first thing I did was again draw. I think we had a lot of pages, so I could just draw diagrams as much as I wanted. So first mistake I did here actually was I drew it like this. This was the first diagram I drew, which was wrong because they can't intersect.
Yeah, actually, our locus is y square is equal to x minus 1, so they cannot intersect. Yeah.
Yeah. So what actually is the correct diagram, which I guess in these kind of questions it's very important to draw a good diagram. But they should be
Actually, they should be kind of parallel parabola. They will never intersect.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they wanted the area in the first quadrant, so this is useless. And then they wanted between x equals 1. So this is x equals 1, I know that. This is x equals 1. And then this is x equals 4, let's say. So this length is 3, this length is 1. I knew that they're asking area of region R from the options, so I wanted to write all of this. So I can calculate the heights using the equation. So this came out to be 2. This came out to be root 3. So this is 1. So yeah. So what I did now is there's this property, I guess you will use it a lot, I guess. So the property is that this area is 2/3 of the other part of the rectangle. Like if this is the whole rectangle, inside the parabola you will have 2/3 of the area. So I guess here this is 1, the whole area is 1. So 2/3 will be this, 1/3 will be that. Now in this whole thing, so this is 4. So I can say that this whole area is 8. So 2/3 of it, 1/3 of it will be here. So that's like 8/3. 1/3 is here, so I can say that 7/3 is here. Now what is the area I had to find between? So I had to find like this area.
Yeah.
So this area is 7/3, this area is 1/3, 2/3. So I know that this is again, and if I look at this kind of part of the parabola, this is the vertex, height is root 3 and horizontal distance is 3. So the whole area of that rectangle is 3 root 3 and I want to find what's inside the parabola. So that would be 2/3 of that, so that's 2 root 3. Now I need to find this, so that's like the whole area is, this is 8/3, this part is 16/3. So it's like 16/3 minus this region, so that's minus 2/3, and then minus this part, so that's 2 root 3. So that comes out to be this option, C, and then we already got S though. This is wrong, correct, wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will tell you my method to solve this question number 5. Here we are given I identity matrix P as 2, 0, 0, 3 and Q for some non-zero real numbers x, y and z, for which there is a 2 into 2 matrix R with all entries being non-zero real numbers such that QR is equal to RP. Okay. Now if this relation is given, okay, then I have made use of eigenvalues and eigenvector. Please see how. Suppose we are having P as eigenvector x and corresponding eigenvalue lambda. Then that's the relation. Px becomes equal to lambda x. Now in this relation, QR is equal to RP if I multiply by x on both sides, post multiply by x both sides. So this Px will become equal to lambda x. Lambda being scalar, I can bring it outside. So this will become R into x. Px is lambda x. Lambda has taken this side, so R into x. Now you can see Rx is again a column vector, column matrix. Okay, so column matrix, so I can say that lambda, if it is eigenvalue of P, this lambda will be eigenvalue of Q also. So from this, whatever eigenvalues of P are, it will be for Q also. And for P, I think eigenvalues are found using P minus lambda I equal to 0 kind of equation, which will give you eigenvalues as 2 and 3, 2 or 3 you can say. And as we know, for Q, if 2 and 3 are the eigenvalues, the sum of diagonal elements, that is trace. So x plus 4 will be sum of eigenvalues, that is 5, that gives you x is equal to 1. And similarly, the determinant of q, that is 4x minus yz, that will be equal to product of these eigenvalues, that is 6. So from there we are getting yz is equal to minus 2 because x is 1. So here we are getting x as 1, yz is equal to minus 2. So you can see this option D is wrong. Okay. Now, if eigenvalue of q is 2, then definitely q minus 2i determinant has to be equal to 0. Okay. Eigenvalue of q is not 6, sorry, is 3. So this q minus 3i determinant cannot be 15, it has to be 0. It has to be 0, so this option is also wrong. Now to find the determinant value of q minus 6i, we can find it separately. That will be x minus 6 and y and z and 4 minus 6, that is minus 2. Now if you plug in these values of x and y, I think we get this also to be correct. So I think this way you can do it in, I think, faster method. That can be the faster method for this question.
Yeah, let me come in between once again with this very, very controversial question. So why is this question controversial? Because, you know, a lot of amazing teachers on YouTube and otherwise, they actually solve this question wrong. So मुझे पूछना है Daksh, I want to understand from Daksh that, you know, how did he go about solving this question? And I have a story which I have heard from, you know, Surinder Sir and Daksh. So there is a story of a question which Daksh discussed with Surinder Sir, and that question came in Vedantu's test. So discussion on that question actually led to Daksh attempting this question correctly. तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा जानते हैं, right Daksh? So come, tell me more about this question. How did you think about it? Do you want to give more details?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where's the pen? Here's the pen.
So actually, this was the first question that came in. I think in here it's question 3, but in my paper it was question 1.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately I saw this, so I got really happy because I know that I know this one very well, this type of function, because I've gotten this type of thing wrong a lot of times. So I was like, okay, now this one I'm going to get right because I know this like in and out kind
Yeah,
of.
you know, in Vedantu's papers and our teaching material, this is very common. I've been teaching this for many, many years, and Surinder Sir as well. Yes, go ahead.
So, means the thing about this is it's one of those cases where the function is differentiable everywhere, but its derivative is not continuous. So I didn't even need to read this I didn't need to solve this A option. It's obviously wrong. Yeah, this is wrong. Then only these two are the points where you have to solve. Like the thing is, at all points other than 0, I could differentiate this normally, but at 0, I need to use first principle. So that's all that was there in this question. And then once you look at the derivative, you get that this is not going to be true because the derivative is oscillating.
Yeah, it's like hyper oscillating function.
Yeah.
So near 0, it oscillates so fast that it's neither a maxima nor neither increasing nor decreasing there in that portion, right?
And then C is exactly that. So C became correct, and then D again. D is not correct. So
got it. So there is a local maxima, right? No, not a minima.
Yeah.
So, and I'll show you actually the question which Surinder Sir and Daksh discussed. So I think that question was this one, right?
yeah, this option.
So let me call in Surinder Sir. Sir, so मैं आपसे discuss कर रहा था. You were telling me about.
Yeah.
So this option led to a discussion.
Yeah.
And that discussion led to Daksh actually knowing about that function x square sine 1 by x or 1 by x square, right?
Yeah.
So tell me more about it.
Actually, this is a question that was asked in Vedantu test in March, I think. And that's a screenshot which Daksh only sent to me. And he said why this option A is wrong. Because in option A, if you see, it says fx is differentiable in closed interval 0 to 1. For every x, it is differentiable. So when we read this thing, it comes in our mind that if it is differentiable, at every point, its value will be some finite number. Okay, now then next line says fx must be bounded in 0, 1 closed interval. So if fx is differentiable at every point in this interval, so it has to have only finite values. So how can it be unbounded? So this option seems correct, and that is what he did in that exam in March. Okay. Then we found one function that is x square into sine 1 by x square.
Can you write down that function?
Yeah. X square into sine 1 upon x square. Okay. Now, and this is for x not equal to 0. For x is equal to 0, it will be 0. Okay. Now, by first principle, if we differentiate, its derivative will be 0 only. Okay. But for other than 0, as he said in that question also, we have to do it by proper differentiation method. So if you do that, do the differentiation, I think first term will be 2x into, 2x into sine 1 by x square. And then minus 2 upon x into cos of 1 upon x square. It's a simple product rule, chain rule differentiation. Okay. Now please see, that's the differentiation valid for every x other than 0. Okay. Now if I try to find the limit of this function as x approaching to 0, now this is fine, it will be 0. But here this will be oscillating between minus 1 to 1, and it is multiplied with 2 upon x, which when x approaches to 0 will tend to infinite. So these oscillation actually will be between minus infinity to plus infinity. So we can say that f dash x cannot be bounded if x is tending to 0. So it looks like it is differentiable at every x. In fact, that is also correct. Now, if you choose any x means any x, like 10 power minus 6, 10 power minus 100, you will get a finite value of your derivative. But when you find the limit, it will go to infinite. So that's a very strange thing happening here. And the similar thing is happening in this question also. Okay. So when I think he did this question, then he took, how much time did you take for that question?
That one. 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Okay. And I think there was no confusion because this kind of discussion we had, in the month of March. So this is one question. Yeah.
So Bachu, there is a great learning here. So this is what, really good students and amazing teachers do. They don't take anything very lightly. So this is one option of a question. So Daksh could have just seen, okay, theek hai, nahi hai, maan lete hain isko, let us assume this is the case and just move ahead like most students do. But he was very particular about discussing this, and Surendra sir was very particular about, clarifying his doubt, and they both actually thought about this and they came up with this particular function. This discussion led to Daksh being able to solve that question very, very fast without any confusion with utmost clarity of the concept. Bacho, this is exactly how you need to learn. And this is exactly the kind of teachers that you need in your preparation, especially for JEE Advanced, right? So this was, I'm really amazed when Surinder sir and Daksh told me about their discussion. Yes, it is geeky discussion, but this is the kind of discussions that you will want to have, right? Chalo. So now let's look at more questions and more things that we want to discuss with Daksh. So there is another question which is very interesting. So though this question was not tough, but this is an example of those kind of questions where if you remember certain very typical results, then you can solve the questions just like that, right? So this is a question where easy way to, one standard way of solving that is, तो आप देख रहे हो यहाँ पे, this is a complex equation. So you can simply put z1 की value here, z2 की value here, square. It will create an equation which will convert into an equation of a circle, and you can find whatever that you have to find here. But there is an even simpler way of solving it, which I will call upon Surinder sir and Daksh to tell us about. But one more thing, this question actually was, this result was taught to our students in our batches, and there were questions which were already there in Vedantu test. So this is a question of Vedantu test. Sir, ये कौन सा एकलव्य वाला test है?
So this we call as NQT, Novel Question Test. The concept of Novel Question Test is that the teachers of Vedantu, they create new questions.
Okay, created by you.
Yeah. So this entire paper is having questions like this only. So this is a question paper that was created by us, and that is a question. Here you can see, here there are two circles.
Oh, sorry sir. You can
take it. So,
and over to you, Daksh and Surinder
okay,
sir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So this is just simple circle, and here it is a similar relation that you can see here also, where you can see 2 is written outside, but in the question of this NQT, this 2 has to be taken out. Then you will see that it can be similar relation. It is actually the concept of Apollonius circle. And if you know that it is Apollonius circle, I think finding this kind of finding the center and radius of this kind of circle becomes very easy. So I think, how much time did you take to do this question?
I actually was messing up first, तो थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा time लगा. मैं 4 minutes लगा होगा probably.
Okay. But I think this question is not difficult, I will say. This was okay type question. Okay, so we can go to the next question now.
But can you tell what exactly you talked about a term?
Apollonius circle.
What is Apollonius circle?
Apollonius circle. Okay, I will tell. Will you like to tell? Yeah, you tell. What is Apollonius circle?
Apollonius circle is basically, it's a result that if I have 2 points here, and the ratio of distances from these 2 points is constant. Like, if this is 1 point, then PA by PB is a constant. Or, if I take, so there's a result that this actually comes out to be a circle like this.
Yeah, actually this AP upon PB is fixed. Let's say 2 or 3. So then P, the locus of P traces one path, that is a circle. Okay, now the easiest method to find the radius and center of the circle is that this will be a point that will divide line joining AB in the ratio 2:1 internally, if this ratio is 2 as given in the question. And this will be a point that divides the line joining AB in the ratio 2:1 externally. So this point we can find, let's say X, and this point, what happened? Yeah, so this point also we can find Y. So these 2 points will be diametrically endpoints. So from that you can find center also, and then you can find radius also. So that's the Apollonius circle. There is some other things also, if you remember. What was that, if you remember?
Yeah, well, there's one more thing, that all of these circles do have the same radical axis.
Yeah, correct.
That is the perpendicular bisector.
Perpendicular bisector, yes. Yeah.
Well, not
So very interesting. Usually you don't study. So he used the word radical circle, right? Radical axis. So radical axis we usually don't study, saying it's out of syllabus. But there are certain things, if you study, it clears and builds lots of concepts in your mind which you can actually use in solving certain problems and actually solve them very smartly. So that's why at Vedantu we ensure that we teach these kids, especially these kinds of kids, right, slightly beyond the sphere of the curriculum, and we'll see that as example in some of the questions as we do it.
So I think, sir, there is one more question. Yeah, sir,
Yeah.
please. This we have discussed, I think. Yeah.
Oh, these are the shortcut tricks.
Yeah. Actually, there are 3 matrix match questions. So normally it happens that in matrix match type questions, when 4 questions are here and 4 options are here, and we are given A, B, C, D. Normally we don't have to solve all the 4 portions, 4 parts actually. We can manage with maybe 2 or 3. So I would like to know from Daksh that how many options did he really solve it, or did he solve all the 4?
I solved P and S.
Only. Why not QR?
So, well, should I tell the whole story of what happened in this question?
Yeah. Please. We will like to. Yes.
So, the first thing that happened when I saw this question was, like, the strategy I'd gone for is I'll do all the matching and single correct first, as soon as I can, because they are the easy ones. So, when I saw this question, you sent me a message, right? 2 days before exam ki you should revise statistics.
Yes.
So I was like, oh shit, I didn't revise this deeply. So basically the confusion I had was I didn't see the 6 here. This was a bit weird from them because they put it randomly in the middle. So I was getting confused. This frequency that they're giving, how do I calculate the median from here? Because if it's in the middle, because I thought ki ye beech mein hoga kahin to, but they gave 6. So actually the thing was that if the median is 6, then that means this F has to be such that is the median class. So that I realized only later. But yeah, so anyways, before that I just looked, can I eliminate any options? So what I knew is that they had mean deviation about mean and they had mean deviation about median. So median itself is defined like that the mean deviation is minimum about it. So if you want all those formulas that you get, they're all from there only. So I knew that, okay, 19 alpha is going to be more than 19 beta.
Correct.
So if I check the options, this is valid, this I can reject, This I can reject. And 2-5 is what? 47 and 55. So this is also rejected. No, sorry. B and D become wrong. A or C are the I have to decide between A and C. So P, Q, R, and I only had to check S then. But P you anyways have to solve. So
you're saying that P and S you have solved completely. This Q and R you were able to figure out only because of that information that mean deviation about median is least. I think that's a property that is given in the NCRT book also. Okay, and we at Vedantu, okay, I'll show you. Also, when we were doing this thing, that the mean deviation is minimum about median. Simple information, if you remember. I think in this question, we didn't require to solve these two options. They are directly done. Because the options they have given says that only from 3 to you have to choose. So this has to be 3, this has to be 2. So that's the question about this statistics. What about these two questions did you do all parts?
So this one, I only did P and Q.
Yeah, I knew it. Actually, when I was solving this paper, I also in the first attempt only solved these two, but later on, just to verify whether the question is correct or not, then I solved this R and S. So in such question, I think we should definitely save our time by not solving all parts. Why should we do? If we can, get it. Similarly, this question 16, I think this is the last question here. Did you do all parts?
Kind of, yeah. Means I knew that T is either -1 or 2.
Okay.
And then means I did S fully, P fully, and then R fully. I think I did P, R, and S, if I remember correctly.
So you are keeping an eye on the options, and then you are saying that which options is to be solved or which should not be solved. Yeah, correct. Very nice. Actually, this year they have given one less matrix match. They have increased number of numeric questions. So that has also made this paper little difficult, because here you are having options to eliminate, but in numeric types there is nothing that you can eliminate. This time questions were having answer in negative values also, like -2. Some numbers were like 0.75, some 762. So the range was so vast that you cannot guess when you are solving a numeric question. You have to solve it completely. You have to do it. You have to do the calculation complete. So then only you can get the answers. Yeah.
So I'd like to point out one thing here, so you realize that Daksh not just, knew the concepts, applied the concepts, but he was very actively looking at, the options as well. So his presence of mind was there, he was thinking smartly, but, it needs practice for that to happen. If you think that, it comes naturally, yes, there are a lot of natural elements to it, but you need practice. So I know for a fact that Daksh has solved so many test papers of these levels, right? That his brain is now tuned to remain active, focused, and having presence of mind in, paper situation, in tough paper situations, right? So this is my suggestion to all of you as well. Solve lots of test papers, putting yourself in the scenario of a real test. And that is when this portion of brain starts evolving, right? Daksh, am I correct?
Yeah.
Right. So how many papers you must have solved till now?
In last 2 months, probably, we did 3 every week.
3 every week, right? So 3 every week, guys.
Means 3 into 2, so 6 technically papers every week.
Yeah, 6 papers every week. So that's the frequency of giving papers. And what would you say about the kind of papers that you gave? Sir talked about the kind of papers, right?
NQT,
NQT papers. So in terms of the level of the paper, did this level of paper shock you, or you were like prepared for such a paper?
Very prepared, I guess. Like this is, my brain fully got into like that test mode as soon as like the clock started.
So nothing was a surprise for you?
I think NQT was much difficult than this.
Yeah, way more difficult.
Way more than difficult. Yeah.
So वो अकबर बीरबल की कहानी है ना. So if you want to make one line smaller, then you make a bigger line, a lengthier line, right? So exactly. So if you want JEE Advanced paper to look like a piece of cake for yourself, then you must be solving NQT kind of papers and many papers,
Yes.
right? So yeah, so this is it, and I think let's discuss a few more questions with Daksh about how he went about his preparation and how he went about strategizing for solving the math paper, especially where he got 100% marks, right? Okay, awesome.